Well, we live in some pretty scary times, huh? Especially if you have children. Me and my husband, we have 6 all together, and grandchildren and all of that good stuff that comes with having a beautiful family. And we also live in a time where, as I've been talking about on my podcast, where everything is so upside down, where children are being targeted by not only these crazy, radical, ideological leftists, and they're being forced to see things that we never would have allowed our children, or our parents would have never allowed us to see in the past, even in our own school system. And we're in a time where there are so many predators out there, right? That we've now as parents become afraid to let our kids run around in the neighborhood on bicycles and, do whatever they want. It's that fear that my child could be taken. And we've seen this slowly, this sexualization of children. But even more so, we're seeing the trafficking of human beings, and that is being actually perpetuated by our own government. How is that even possible? That we live in a time now where we have governments that throw rules and regulations and laws, they just throw them away and anything goes, right? Anything goes. Just let everybody into the country. Don't even do background checks, because they're really not, folks. Just let people traffic human beings into our nation, left and right, children without parents, unaccompanied minors, then just release those children to whoever in the United States and let anybody in, criminals, anybody in, anything can happen. I want you to look at your child today. Think about what would go through your mind, how you would handle your child just disappearing before your very eyes. Because let me tell you something. That is what's happening to people in Central America and in Mexico. There are many families. They did not pay to have their kids trafficked into the US. They live in Mexico. Many of these families have spoken to the lady, my good friend, who I have on here today, former congressional member from Mexico, Rosi Orozco, who has been fighting the drug cartels and fighting the human traffickers, fighting them every single day. Many of those parents have talked to her and poured their hearts out to her, have told her the horrors of letting their child go out one day to play, and then they never came back in the house again. Or their child met someone online and thought that this person was another kid or somebody cool that they were going to meet, and then they disappeared forever, only for their parents to find out that they had probably been sold into a sex trafficking ring with somebody, a European or an American or even a Spaniard or somebody with enough money to pay for that child to do horrific things to their child. Some of these parents have died of broken hearts. She'll tell you about that. And right now, thank God, we have, my good friend, Senator Marsha Blackburn. She's on the show frequently here on the Sara Carter Show. She is just recently talked to me about a bipartisan bill with Amy Klobuchar and Cindy Hyde-Smith. It's called the Save Girls Act. We're going to be talking about that with Rosi Orozco. That it authorizes $50 million in additional funding for a grant program to prevent trafficking of young women and girls. And it's not limited to, including but not limited to vulnerable children who have been smuggled across our border, because our government is perpetuating this kind of behavior and allowing billions of dollars, hundreds of billions, into the pockets of cartels. And right now, we know that human trafficking is by far surpassing, can you believe this? Can you actually believe this? Surpassing drug sales. It is one of the fastest growing criminal industries on the planet, in our world. And more than 90% of it is female trafficking. More than 90% of the female trafficking victims are actually trafficked for sexual exploitation. So when you look at me at the border, when I'm on Sean Hannity's show, or you listen to Dark Wars, our nonprofit podcast series, with the Dark Wire and Radio America, when you listen to me on my podcast and we talk about, human trafficking, realize that 90% of female trafficking victims are actually trafficked for sexual exploitation. Think about that. The State Department estimated as well that 14,500 and 17,500 victims, individuals that are trafficked into the United States annually, are probably sold into some of these, what they call modern day slavery. How are we okay with this? How are you okay with this? How are we okay with the growing sexualization of children? How are we okay with the fact that trafficking disproportionately affects girls and women? All the women in America, we should be standing up for this. And that nearly 1 in every 4 victims of human trafficking in the United States is a child. Take a look at your child today. I'm going to take a look at my child today. And this is the reason why I know it's like beating a drum, but we got to fight for something, folks. Why not fight for our children? Why not fight for children in general? I know if I was walking down the street and I saw that a child was in need, or that a child was being harmed, or that a child was being beaten, or if I knew that a child was being taken to a predator, to a sexual monster, a predator that was going to destroy that child's innocence for life, guess what I would do? I would get involved. I would stop it. I would put my life on the line for that child. I would, just instinctually. I'm a woman. I'm a mom. Yes, I'm a mom. I'm a woman. I like saying that because I feel like people are trying to rob me of that in this day and age, trying to take that away from me. And I know that fathers would too. I know that there are men out there that would do the same. So you and I, we need to figure out what it is we're willing to fight for. Your child and my child. And I'll be back with Rosi Orozco, and she's going to tell you just how to do that. She's going to tell you just how to do that. I want to talk to you a little bit, though, about Allegiance Gold. I love Allegiance Gold, and I believe in diversifying your finances, right? Why do I believe in diversifying finances? Because we've seen what's happened, right, in our country with the banking systems. We've seen what's happened all over the world. We are watching right now the US dollar is paying a heavy price under the Biden administration as he pushes our allies and others into the arms of China. So don't just trust me, right? Do the research yourself. Trust me on that. Do the research yourself. I've already done it. And that's why I have Allegiance Gold as a sponsor for my show. I believe in them. Right now, you can get $5,000 of free silver on a qualifying purchase. Remember that. It's on a qualifying purchase when you tell them that Sara sent you. My friends at Allegiance Gold can help you protect your IRA or your 401k with physical gold and silver, or have it delivered securely right to your door. They'll educate you on the benefits of physical gold because guess what? They care and they want to build a long-term relationship with you. Right now, get $5,000 of free silver on a qualifying purchase when you tell them that Sara sent you. That's SARA. Don't wait, call or click today, 877-702-7272. That's 877-702-SARA, SARA, or go to protectwithsara.com. We can't control the Biden administration, folks, but we can prepare. That's 877-702-7272. That's 877-702-SARA, or protectwithsara.com. All right, I brought my friend, my very, very dear friend, Rosi Orozco, here on the show. She's a former congressional member of Mexico. She passed the first anti-human trafficking laws in Mexico, and she is continuing her advocacy here in the United States and across the globe. Rosi, thank you so much for being on the show. I know you're at an airport, so I caught you in between flights. So thank you for being with me.
You know that you are the same, and I admire you so much because you really care about the victims. That's what it's so special about you, Sara Carter.
I love her. I do care about the victims. I do care about the victims.
I know.
And I care about all the work that people like you, Rosi, are doing, and survivors of human trafficking are doing. And the reason why I thought it was so important to have you on the show is because of Title 42, that, we see that the border right now, Title 42 is over. This week, we see the border is filled with so many people that are being trafficked into the United States of America. And my heart breaks because I wonder how many children, how many women, how many men are being abused by the cartels and the human traffickers. And I really want it to come from your words. I mean, this is about putting a stop to this, right? And we can't do
Yeah,
that if the
and
United States continues to participate in it.
yeah, and you and me, we were with the senators in the border, and after that time, I am so pleased that Senator Marsha Blackburn and Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith came with this incredible act, Save Girls Act, and I am willing so much. I'm praying to God that this bill will pass because I think there is so much to do, especially little girls. We saw them, Sarah.
Yes,
We
we
saw
did.
them with our eyes, how they were being crossed. You know, so many little children with a pregnant woman and the coyotes. And in that river that is so, it was so cold and it was so dangerous. And all the border now has so many migrants trying to cross. In my side, we have 1,300 girls that are missing only in 2022.
It's
Little girls
unbelievable.
from 10 to 19. So when I saw these Save Girl Acts that are trying to stop abuse, exploitation of these girls, because from every four women, one is a child, one is a minor. Some of them could be the girls that we are missing in Mexico that are being crossed to be exploited in the United States.
That's absolutely true, Rosie. Some of those girls are probably some of that are the ones that are missing families. And just so you all out there understand what Rosie is talking about, many times you assume, or I assume, that the children or the people that are being trafficked are doing so voluntarily, or that their parents have paid money to bring them here. In many cases, that is true. But in many more cases, in other cases, that is not true. These children are taken off the streets. They are kidnapped. They are sold on these dark black markets, so to speak, to pedophiles and other people running operations where there's physical labor and slavery involved. It's hard to believe, but that is happening in the modern age. And we have been screaming to the hilltops about this. And that is the reason why the New York Times finally did a story exposing some of that modern day slavery, underage workers in factories here in the United States. You also brought up, Rosi, which I want to explain to everyone, the new bipartisan bill. It's to curb smuggling and trafficking of girls. Senator Marsha Blackburn, a very good friend of mine, a good friend of yours, Rosie, and Amy Klobuchar, who's a Democrat from Minnesota, Cindy Hyde-Smith.
Yeah, that was so good.
Yeah, it's bipartisan,
Yeah, it
right?
was
It's
so.
bipartisan
Yes,
legislation. This is
yes.
what we need more of. Did that make you happy to see? I mean, I was so excited to see that both sides, this are saying we need to stop this. We need to stop it.
Yeah, there is decent people in both parties that really care about the victims, and I was so happy to see that this Save Girl Act it's a bipartisan effort,
Right.
and clap to all of them. I mean, we know the heart of Cindy Hyde-Smith and the heart of Marsha. I saw how nice they were with Carlita Jacinto and how they were very interested on knowing how she overcome that situation that Carlita was a victim from 12 to 16. And oh, she felt so loved by all of them. And now, well, I am so pleased to see the senator from Minnesota, Amy Klobuchar, that
Correct.
also is joining these efforts. I think we need also the NGOs together, Sarah. We were in a very important event in Arlington, Virginia, with
Right.
people from DC and people that came from all over the United States. Also, a survivor came and spoke first, because we always honor survivors first. And it was such a good event, Sara, that we are inviting you to be part of that board of getting all the NGOs together and, of course, Congress people from. We were planning to do it by national, but guess what? People from Canada came. So this is now going to be North America effort. And we
That's
are going to have a
incredible.
special event in July that you are already invited, and you are the key person there. I know that your experience, it's so important, and your heart is in the right place. You love the survivors. You really care for them for years. Do you know how many people like you come and make an interview and never come back?
I don't know. I just couldn't even imagine not doing that. And you
Well,
always
I
make
know.
me cry just a little. I'm just feeling it. I want to explain who Karla Jacinto is because she is a hero to me. And she's so funny and so sweet and so loving. But just so that everybody can understand what this poor girl has been through, she is one of the people that Rosie was talking about, somebody who is, dedicated her life to fighting trafficking, human trafficking. She has met with the Pope a number of times. She spoke all over the world with Rosi. From the ages of 12 to 16, Karla was forced to have sex more than 43,000 times. She was a slave and had no freedom of her own. She was lured away from a dysfunctional family in Mexico, had no idea as a young child that she was going to be forced into sex trafficking. And her life is a story of survival and incredible amazement. And for all of you out there that are listening to me, there are children that have been through what she's one of so many young girls in the world and young boys in the world that have been literally taken from their families and have been tortured and abused and used, and some of them have been killed. And our job as citizens of this world is to stop that. It is not to allow that to happen to one more child. And we have to be vocal and we have to talk about it. I got to tell you, Rosie, one of the issues that bothers me so much, it doesn't matter if it was Republican or Democrat, but allowing that border to be wide open and allowing the drug cartels and the human trafficking organizations to benefit by making hundreds of billions of dollars in moving people into our country and us not stopping it. I'm sorry, but in a way, it makes our government just as responsible for human trafficking, don't you think?
Yes, yes, and also the governments that allows the strip clubs, the brothels, because
Right.
there is no congruency. You know, we have to be congruent. I was here now visiting one of the border states, and let me tell you, I really admire that now you have a law that punish the solicitor,
Right.
the people who are the clients. But I don't understand, but that they give money for campaigns, that they have these strip clubs and brothels open. You can see all the mafia that is around. It's the same in my country. And we have spoken with governors that has closed everything in Tamaulipas, in Coahuila, in Aguascalientes, and in the state of Mexico. That is congruency. Because if you don't want to educate men to see women as a merchandise, to be violent towards women, you cannot allow that women are being sold like objects. And that's why I always wear the blue heart that says human beings are not for sale, the same as my earrings, because human beings are not for sale. That's it. And it has to be completely radical.
And we have to change the mindset, don't we? Because we have
Yeah.
somehow socially conditioned people to think that that's okay, that being for sale. There are people that say, well, and I remember this is very important because you were the one that actually opened my eyes to this many, many years ago. I think when we were with Glenn Beck and doing a documentary on this many years ago. And you were saying, like, when a man says, or anyone says, well, it's okay because she's over 18. You said, no, 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 wait a minute. A lot of these girls were sexually abused when they were younger, almost all of them. And they've been forced into the sex trade, and they don't know any other way out. By the time they're 18, 19, 20, a lot of these girls have been abused so violently that it's just, this is all they know.
And many of the people that keeps these places open says all of the ones inside are older. Yeah. Then they will bring police, they will bring mayors, they will bring congressmen to sit them with these older, older, more than 18. Okay. Then when they get corrupted, when they get addicted to these kind of things, they will offer them, hey, you are now a regular client. I will show you a house where we have new girls, where you will be the first with them, or that they are minor, or they are babies. So they will get them to be more and more perverse.
Compromised.
And also those places is where money laundering is also going on. Arms, drugs, many things that are illegal happens there. But if you get a picture of the police with a girl with corrupting the police, and you get pictures or videos from them, you will be blackmailing them, saying, hey, remember, you are part of our organization, because they will make them feel they are part of that kind of criminal family that organize the human trafficking. That's why it's growing, these places all over America.
This is so important. And I want everyone to take in what Rosi's telling you, because this isn't just about watching people cross the border. And of course, that's an issue. And of course, there's a whole other set of issues when it comes to large scale, unexpected immigration. But this is about taking control of our local leadership, our local law enforcement, our state and our federal level politicians and lawmakers, our judges. This is about corrupting people and compromising them so that they actually end up working for the cartels. And
paying the campaigns with that money.
Yeah. And using, this is campaign money. A lot of people say, oh, well, this is only happening in Mexico. No, it's not. It is happening in the United States of America. How many Border Patrol agents, how many police officials, how many sheriffs and lawmakers, and the ones we don't even know of that have been caught in these traps of this money.
And congressmen and senators and governors. And I challenge today the governors of the states. I challenge to close these places where human trafficking is happening, where a lot of these girls, I don't care if 30 of them wants to be there, one that was there because she was trafficked, one that is there because she was a little girl crossing the border illegally and now she's there, it's a shame on you. And we have more than 100 families that we help in Mexico City that their daughters have disappeared, and the crying of them, the suffering, it's unbelievable. You cannot even imagine.
That's what I challenge you.
I challenge the authorities to close these places, to be bold enough and congruent to close these places where human trafficking is happening, and we all know that is happening.
I think that's brilliant, and I agree with you. I'm with you in on that challenge. Any place that had any evidence of any human trafficking whatsoever, whether it's a strip club, whether it's a I don't even know, a brothel. I mean, it should be illegal, but I guess it's legal in Nevada. But, and also, what about the Johns, Rosi, the people that are sleeping with the clients that are sleeping with these young girls? I'll be back in a second. But first, let me tell you about Fast Growing Trees. I love Fast Growing Trees, and you all have seen me on Instagram with my beautiful Fast Growing Trees, which, by the way, were delivered securely right to my front door. And I was able to have like a personal nursery expert guide me through the whole process. I mean, you don't need to be rich to do this. You don't need to go out and hire some kind of super expensive landscaping company to do this. All you need to do is have a computer. So you can go to fastgrowingtrees.com. That's what you do. You go to fastgrowingtrees.com. They'll look at the region of the country that you live in, and then you can order those plants exactly for your area of the country. How awesome is that? And not only that, I've said this before, it's something that the whole family can do. You can make a beautiful garden, a small one, a large one, a medium-sized one. You can grow fruit trees. You can grow flowers, you can grow vegetables, fruits, whatever your heart desires. And you can do that with your family or by yourself just to relax. And your children will love it. And believe me, they are going to get a lot more out of growing plants with you and planting with you and gardening with you than watching television, which is, by the way, mind-blowing what our kids are watching today on TV. So it's probably better that they're outdoors. Remember, join 1.5 million happy Fast Growing Tree customers. Go to fastgrowingtrees.com/Carter to get 15% off your entire order right now. Get 15% off. Don't wait. Do it now. Get 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com/Carter. fastgrowingtrees.com/Carter. You'll love it. Trust me. Thank you so much for joining me today. Human trafficking must be stopped. And we can do that together. You and I together have the power to end it. Please join me in that fight. Subscribe to my channel, The Sara Carter Show, here on YouTube and Rumble. Thank you so much. I would be wrong if I didn't mention what was happening in the United States, where we've seen it with even like Epstein, right? We've seen that there's no clients that are public there. They haven't publicized who the clients are. They haven't arrested any of the clients. They've taken Ghislaine Maxwell, who was working for Epstein. She's in jail. But what about all these wealthy men that were on that island? What about all the videotapes? What about the airfare, the private plane? All of the evidence has disappeared. Isn't that amazing? It's amazing.
Amazing, but
It's amazing.
what is good?
What
is good in Texas is that now in Texas the clients are being exposed, and
I love it.
that's very good. I love it from Texas. And Tennessee is doing a lot of good things. Tennessee now is the state that is considered the one that is more advanced, and I think that has to do with our friend, the Senator Marsha Blackburn, because she's so active. My God, she's so active against human trafficking. I love it.
Well, she's really taken it to heart. She is really, really pushing to save lives. And I just feel so blessed to know her. Right now, there's a story, and I wanted to talk to you about it. And then I'm going to ask you a couple of questions that I think are really important. But right now, there was a man and a woman here in Texas. They're behind bars. They traveled to Miami-Dade County with a young female to solicit clients. Jaya Welsh was a 21-year-old and 32-year-old Xavier Littrell Smith on January 6th took a 17-year-old victim and they kidnap people and they sell them for sex. And here in the state of Texas, those people were taken into custody, thank God, and they were, they're facing charges. But this is exactly what we're talking about, exposing these monsters and exposing those people. Here's an important question. The role of social media in exploiting children. That is a huge deal. And we also know that in some cases, with maybe they know, maybe they don't know, some of the NGOs have assisted in the trafficking of people in an effort to do good things. If they've ended up helping the traffickers instead of fighting them. So first, what can we do about exposing social media, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter?
I think there is a way in the webpage tupista.org. Tupista is the Crime Stoppers webpage. I send everything to them. you know, Alejo Campos is a great friend and he's very committed and very connected. I, we have to send the information that we have announced to the right people because if not, then, as you say, sometimes we just make more damage when we use the social media. We should know where to send the information. This is the webpage I trust, tupista.org. That's the one I really believe they are doing incredible. You know, the National Center of Sexual Exploitation also is supporting a legislation that also are taking the tech companies to be responsible. It's a very good initiative that
Right.
is going to pass, I hope. It's called Earn It Act.
The Earn It Act, yes, that is very important. But what about traffickers using social media to lure victims, impersonate people, utilize it as, you know, maybe hack into people's computers and videotape them and then blackmail them or say they're going to release those videos. I mean, they've become very sophisticated, these human traffickers, right? I mean, a lot of
Right,
these children are tricked.
and I want the parents also to hear that we have been helping families where in games, I don't want to say the game because it's not about the game. It could happen in any of the games where you are socializing with other children and you think your child is with the same age. And sometimes they are traffickers. And just one single story from many, but I was having lunch with a family because the little girl who was groomed, who was deceived like that, and she went out of her house and followed this boy that was not a boy. And thank God, some of the police are my friends and helped me and find her and brought her back. But even that, when she was back, she was still believing that was a boy, that was a nice person, and the police was sure she was going to be taken to Tijuana. The
Oh my
police
gosh.
stopped her in the middle of the way, and she was still believing that the parents and the police were wrong. That's the kind of manipulation that these monsters can do to a child.
And I think a lot of parents, um, unfortunately, don't really understand that their child is being hunted by these predators online. And
Yep,
you've seen it
yep.
with your own eyes. I've seen it with my eyes. Any advice to parents right now, based on what you know, Rosi? Before I let you go, any advice to parents about how to protect their child and what we could do? I know what I'm going to do, but what other people can do to help fight human trafficking and save children.
Well, in our webpage, Unidos V Se Trata, also TikTok, we have Unidos V Es Trata. It's you. I don't know how to say
I'll
it
put
in
it up there.
English.
I'll put it up there. I'll
Okay,
send
okay.
everybody on my
Unidos.
website to
Okay,
your
the
website so they
TikTok.
can.
Uh, our TikTok is so good because there is so many survivors that we have helped that they say their testimony and the teenagers like so much. But also my YouTube has a lot of testimonies. If I was a father in this time, a mother, I will sit with my children to watch some of these stories and then tell them, I will not give you a free connection to the computer. I have to know your password. If you are living under my protection, my authority, I will always be careful of who you are getting to know in the internet, because our families were like that. You know, my mother always wanted me to invite my friends to the house because she wanted to know who were my friends.
Right.
She made the best meals, the best food, because she wanted all my friends to come to the house. She wanted to be protecting me. And it has to be the same in the internet. As parents, we have to know who are the friends. And, if we have children that are underage and are under our responsibility, you have to have this responsibility, the time to go and see who are the friends of your children. Be careful. These people can deceive even you. Be careful.
That is so true. That's almost
Yeah,
frightening when you think about it. It's like we can be
yeah. They
deceived.
are professional. They are professional.
They know what to do.
Professional.
They've tricked
Yeah,
parents into giving up their children. They've tricked, before you know it, your child's disappeared and you're running around looking for your child. You'll never see them again. Just remember,
yeah.
folks, that's the reason why I do these shows. That's why I have beautiful people like Rosi that I work with that saves children's lives. Thank you so much, Rosi. And I will see you very
you.
soon, my friend. We'll be in a
Yes.
very soon. And I'm heading to the border right now. So this is for me.
Thank you. Thank you for caring. Thank you for going to the border. Thank you for the job, all the effort you are doing in the border.
And
thank you, Sara.
And thank you too, Rosi, for everything that you've done.
God bless you.
God bless you too. Folks, I know sometimes these shows are hard to hear. Sometimes I bring on some funny guests and sometimes I bring on some serious guests. And let me tell you, having Rosi Orozco in my life has changed it completely. Why? Because I do believe that the little bit amount of time that I spend on this earth, I want to spend it doing things that help others. And I want to do that with people that actually care. So I'm so blessed that I'll be on the board with Rosi and that I'll be working with her to help save young girls, young boys, adults who are being trafficked into our nation and around the world. And I'm going to keep speaking out against what is happening at our border. And shame on the Biden administration. Shame on you, because you know what's happening down there. You are well aware of what is going on at that border. Alejandro Mayorkas, President Biden, so-called border czar, Vice President Kamala Harris. You all know that leaving that border wide open is doing nothing more than perpetuating that type of criminal behavior and activity. And you are emboldening the drug cartels, you're emboldening the human traffickers, and you are not only putting children in the worst situations imaginable, but some of them are actually dying. You need to stop it. You must stop it. It is totally unacceptable. And for all of you out there listening, all of you with children or don't have children or want to have a kid one day, but all of you who really, truly care about what's happening to our country and what's happening to the people being trafficked into our country, I welcome you to join us to help fight this fight the good fight. Remember, there is nothing that will make you feel better as a human being than when you help somebody else. And I believe that comes back, right? If we have children, I want people out there in the world that are willing to do the same for me and my family and my children that I would be willing to do for them. So thank you so much for being a part of the Sara Carter Show. Thank you so much for being a part of my life. It truly means a lot to me. It means everything to me. I love doing this podcast. I love you being a part of it. You can follow me on Truth at Sara Carter Official. Follow me on Twitter at Sara Carter DC and on Instagram at SCarterDC. God bless you. God bless our children and pray for them and our great nation. And God bless the great state of Texas.